Welcome back. I'm Mark Schwartz, and this is The Real Deal. Remember, get a hold of me, YouTube, Facebook, or text. My information's provided. We're here with Carlos Kremer from Kremer Insurance Company, our friend and our insurance guru. And he's got a lot of information on how to best protect you and your family and the things that you may not be realizing about your current insurance policy and how little time it is to talk to you about how to improve your situation and maybe switch companies. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how are you doing, Mark?
I'm doing great. As always, excited to have you in here and your energy and enthusiasm, man.
Thank you for having me on. Thank
Absolutely.
you. It's such a critical thing, that people
tell us.
overlook is their homeowner insurance. First of all, people are out there looking for the best rate. What's your price? What's your price? Let me tell you, when you have a claim, no one remembers what money they saved by going with a certain company.
That's hilarious. Exactly.
Yeah, it's totally true. They want to know, am I covered?
Right.
So the key is to really evaluate your homeowner insurance is to look at the fine details of the contents replacement cost, for example.
Meaning what?
You have a 2008 70-inch TV. Well, you need a 2018 70-inch TV. So you don't want that value of what it was worth.
Dude,
you want what it's worth new.
That's absolutely correct. So I've had that issue where I've had an item that was taken or needed repair, and then they were taking, it was a 2007.
Right.
And so we'll scale that down. Here's your $300, and you're like, it's going to cost me $1,200 to replace that item.
Exactly.
So how do you avoid that?
And if you can imagine going item by item, it adds into the thousands and thousands of dollars. You just want to have an agent that you can trust, one that knows the product, has a great homeowner policy like Farmers does, and can get into really see what you have, what the valuables you have, also get an appraisal if you have rings,
individual items,
floaters for rugs and carpets and things like that are antique-wise, that are more expensive than you think. You need to get those covered as well.
So from the start, like not to interrupt, I'm selling homes, okay? Lender requires an insurance policy, which is basically in case the house burns down.
Right.
Okay. So from there, you call, hey, I need a lender's policy, and we get somebody to fax something over quickly, and it's usually at the last minute, right? Like, oh my God, we need insurance. Like,
exactly.
And so at that point, we're looking for like, how much is it? How much do I need to put up? What's the down payment? I got to, and then how do you take it from there, man? Like, when do you have the opportunity? You need to sit down and obviously talk to these people,
Yes,
right?
yeah. We go out, we meet with the clients, we take a look and inspect the property. You want to look at everything. I mean, top to bottom. What do you have per room and a value for the house? What's their total personal property coverage that you would need for this home?
That's a difference maker. You're actually going to the home and you're checking out exactly what they have and getting that personal, visit there to really help. That's like a relationship-based individual. That's what we love about you. Like I try and work with families and get referrals, and I'm going to sell your parents a house. I'm going to sell your kids a house, right?
Right.
I want to work with. You've got so much around you. I mean, let's work together. You already believe in me, right?
Right.
And so that's kind of how we work. But you're right. You're looking out for their best interest, man. That's awesome.
And believe me, when you go with an agent, I've been in the business 22 years now. When I pick up that phone call to fight for a client, and I've been to their house and I know you personally, that's going to carry a lot of weight.
Certainly, you can tell by the enthusiasm and energy that Carlos has and maintains. I mean, and that transforms over the phone. If you've seen, and you feel anytime, we're confident about, or when you know that you know what you know, right?
Right.
You can communicate that correctly.
Right, exactly. And another glaring thing that people don't realize too is the liability limits. So many people get $100,000 liability because that comes with the policy.
Right.
We write $1 million liability if we can, or $500,000, because if anything happens, even some friends came over, had some drinks, and got in a wreck on the way home. That's going back to your liability.
Yeah, you're right.
We were talking about your kids. Say one of them swinging. We had a child swing a golf club, and it hit another kid in the eye. That's liability coverage. It's so important. And
so is that liability coverage from your home?
From your home.
Wow.
So it carries. It carries you for that home for anything that could happen that's non-criminal and not negligent.
I don't know that anybody realizes that, because you hear about an umbrella coverage and those things which you buy, off of that. But your actual homeowner's insurance does cover, those types of situations on your liability policy. So just let me transition to, we're in Carmel Valley, Del Mar. Some cars are $125,000, man.
Right.
And it's a per passenger limit and a repair limit on liability. What's your advice for somebody with kids who's, kid's getting her driver's license in
Right.
6 months.
Right.
You know, all I hear about
fun,
is
but scary, right?
exactly. How do we protect ourselves? You know,
Right. The biggest thing is if you've got vehicles, you have you know, a good value, a good family
Right.
sized income, and things that you need to protect. You've got to get the highest limits of liability.
Sure.
Which is $500,000 per person, $500,000 per incident,
Right.
and then you want to max out your property damage as well. Then we recommend you go with an umbrella for $1 million on top of that.
Right.
California being one of the most litigious states
Jeez.
in the United States. I mean, everyone is suing.
you breathe on
right now.
somebody, they're going to sue on you for maybe getting the flu.
Exactly. So we like to make sure that everybody's covered. You can sleep at night, and again,
Yeah.
you're not thinking, "Oh, I wasted that extra $30."
So you got to have, you need to go ahead and maximize your coverage. And it's interesting, bro. I know what you're saying because I'm in sales too. We're going over there and talking to people that haven't even thought about selling their homes. And we're, hey, you got any interest in selling your home? And you got to explain why. So I imagine somebody's calling you and they're shopping, rates.
Right.
And they're looking for the minimum to get in and get covered. And then they're going to call you later and they're going to be like, dude, like, well, what's up? And so obviously your energy's there, man, and people know you're enthusiastic about the business. I imagine that translates to help, people understand that you're looking out for their best interest.
Right.
Which is why I like to work with you and why I would always recommend Carlos from Kremer Insurance. And you can get a hold of him through me or the information that he provided as well. I mean, that's what it takes to get it done. I mean, we're looking out for their best interest, right? I always say, man, guys that are doing this part-time have 2 gigs. Oh, I got my insurance ticket from years ago,
Right.
but I'm, doing IT work. It's like, well, what they're doing is trying to, make their payments, feed their kids, cover their bills.
Right.
They're not looking out for your best interest. They haven't done what it takes to establish a career in the business, excel, become a master in the field, and really have a position which, it's very important, man, when working with people. I always tell people, if your realtor has a second job, doesn't mean they're not good.
Right.
But they're not
However-
thinking properly.
Right.
They're tending bar and trying to get into real estate full time.
Right.
They're going to do what it takes to negotiate that deal, bro. How many times? Yeah, I write an offer for $500,000 on a property that's, $569, and the seller's agent says to me, okay, well, how high can you get your buyer? I said, well, 500. But on the flip side, if I'm representing the seller and I'm like, hey, we're at 569, they come in at 500, they're like, well, how low can you get your seller?
Right.
Because they're trying to negotiate the deal for their client.
Right.
How many? 25 grand can go like that. And if like you were sitting in a room while I negotiated for you, and I'm like, well, here's the offer at 500, but I know I'll pay 525.
Right.
Okay, you're
Right.
gonna just break my neck.
Well, and you know what I kind of equate that to is like you have an incredible team. You guys are making things happen and educating your clients. We try to do the same in an overall basis that, you've got to, it's just like, why aren't people going with the help yourselves anymore?
Right.
It's because they weren't getting the value. They weren't getting the negotiating.
That's it.
They weren't getting any of the things that you need in real estate, but they had a small figure.
Absolutely.
that
And
they were paying,
and then much like in your
which
business,
cost them thousands, right?
Dude.
In the long run.
if you think it's expensive to have a pro, try having a rookie, and then having an issue. They always say
Exactly.
and I agree with you 1,000%. And going in there and establishing value is very important. There's no question about it. We know it's very competitive. In the real estate business, there's like 19,000 realtors with the MLS and San Diego Real Estate Association, they consider to be full-time agents. But, there's maybe 2,000 homes selling in a month in San Diego.
Right.
So that's 1 in 9 that are selling homes. They're on shaky ground right now, and they're not really looking out for anybody but themselves, right?
Correct.
And so it's important to educate, like you say, and that's why I go out there. And so I wanted to finish with a couple of stories, bro. You had, tell me a story about somebody who was not insured as much as they should be, and somebody who was fortunately that you had spoken to, a client of yours that had the coverage they needed.
A great story. A former, broadcaster here in San Diego, Larry Himmel.
Yeah.
May he rest in peace. Was such a legend in the area. But he's been a client of ours for a long
Wow.
time, many years. And I don't know if you recall, he was doing the newscast of our fires in front of his own house burning down.
Yeah,
So it was
unreal,
a
dude.
very
Unreal.
emotional time. And with the Cedar fires and the Witch Creek fires and all that we have around here in San Diego, it's so incredibly important to have the right coverage. His home was burnt down to the ground.
I do remember that.
I mean, just crisp.
Yeah.
I was walking through the property with him. His wife had tears in her eyes, and he was, taking it as a professional, but he knew he had the right coverage.
Wow.
We got him his home built completely brand new, better than it was before, and every single one of his items returned and got new.
Unbelievable story.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you know what? They because of the relationship as well, they're not saying, we need this receipt. We need that receipt. You said you had that.
You're able to go in and work it with the client relationship that you have because you understand.
I've been there.
You've been there. You know the stuff, and you can speak with, you're informed on the situation and have the experience there. So what's the story that you had to jump in and save somebody, maybe where they weren't covered or they were, had a situation that was coming up, and you were able to go in there and work it out?
We actually had a client that, their insurance lapsed, and we called because we're on it, that, courtesy calls to, that's one thing that we do too, is people do forget to pay their bills.
Sure.
Insurance, we always say it should be an EFT, automatic, withdrawal per month or paid yearly. But
don't want to have it without insurance.
Exactly. But we were able to catch a couple of people that had devastating losses that were fully insured. Yes, because we followed up and we were on them. So the difference, like a help you sell, it's the same with insurance. Right. There's 800 numbers out there. You can go to the internet and find a million carriers. Right. But are they protecting you properly?
Hell no. And that's when we go back. I go on a listing appointment and I'll wrap it up with this. And they ask you what's your commission. Well, 9 out of 10 realtors will start dancing around that question when it's just a question, man. Right. It's 6%. They say, oh, that's what I thought. Okay. But they'll tell you, hey, so-and-so down the street will do it for 4%. And my response is, I'm sure they would. That scares me.
Yes.
Yeah, can I tell you why?
Right.
I mean, I'm just sharing stories. And then obviously we negotiate. We do what we need to do to get in and get it done.
Right.
But dude, it's the education. It's showing the interest and caring. That's what I love about you, man. The energy, the enthusiasm, going out there. What insurance company goes out to your home, looks at your belongings, advises you on the coverage you need, and get you what you need to protect yourself and your family, man. Carlos, I really appreciate it. But as always,
good
to see you.
Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. This is The Real Deal. Carlos Kremer, Kremer Insurance. I'm Mark Schwartz.